Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back another video today. And today the Houston Astros have traded for one-time All-Star Yusei Kikuchi from the Toronto Blue Jays. And I'm going to be honest right from the start. I've been an Astros fan all my life. Born in H-Town, raised in H-Town, still living in H-Town. I've been a fan of the Astros, the Texans, and the Rockets from the minute I was born. I just really didn't start to care for them right away. I went to my first Astros game at probably 4 or 5 years old, which is like 2013, 2014, which I was actually probably 6 or 7, maybe 5 at the earliest, first Astros game. But at the time, didn't really care about baseball. I just wanted, just went because my dad or grandfather got tickets. The only reason I didn't care about baseball. I didn't care about the Astros. I didn't care about the Texans. I didn't care about the Rockets. I didn't care about anything sports until being 9 years old. I was a fan of the teams. I was a fan of the Astros and Rockets and Texans because that's where I'm from. But I didn't care to, really watch them I was just interested if I went to the games. But in 2017, at 9 or 10 years old, that was when I really started watching the Astros because I started getting into the other sports. I got into basketball and football first, and then I got into baseball and the Astros. It was first Rockets, Texans, and basketball and football, and then it was Astros and baseball. And I've been watching the Astros since 2017. If we're not going to talk about going to games in earlier years from like 2013 through 2016. And this is the worst trade I've seen the Astros make in the 7 years of watching them and paying attention to them. I've seen some bad trades. I've seen some good trades. I've seen some really good trades. But this is the worst trade by far I've seen in the 7 years of watching the Astros. The Astros traded 9th best prospect Jake Bloss, who was a third-round pick in the 2023 MLB draft. They traded 13th best prospect Will Wagner, who has a .300 batting average this year with the Astros Sugarland team, AAA team, the Space Cowboys, and Joey Loperfido, who has an almost .240 batting average, 16 RBIs, and 2 home runs in only 30 games with the Astros Major League team. Also had a batting average of .275 with 13 home runs and 33 RBIs, and 38 games with the Astros AAA team, the Space Cowboys, this year. So the Astros gave up Joey Loperfido, who not just made an impact at the plate with 16 RBIs and 38 games, but Joey Loperfido also was making crazy catches out there for the Astros in left field and right field. So that was something that was really exciting about Joey Loperfido. I'm not one to ignore the bad things, and as I love Joey Loperfido, I will not ignore his striking out issue. Joey Loperfido had a huge issue with striking out, but at the same time, I will say this is an issue I think a lot of rookies will have problems with. 106 at bats, he struck out 43 times. That is a huge issue, and he had this same issue in Sugarland as well. 162 at bats, 53 strikeouts. So. It's not like this was just a thing that was happening because he's a rookie in the major leagues. There was a strikeout problem in Sugarland as well. That's an issue, but he's still doing really good things at the plate, still was doing really good in the outfield, and had a promising future with the Astros at only 25 years old. But the Astros decided to trade him for a pitcher who's been terrible this year and only has a half a year of control with being a free agent after this year. So they gave it Joey Loperfido, who has amazing promise, like I mentioned. Jake Bloss, who was a third-round pick in 2023. And not only that, but has 6 years of control. 6 years of control that he has with the Blue Jays now. And sure has he absolutely sucked in 3 starts with the Astros. In the major leagues with a 6.94 ERA. But this is a guy who is 23 years old and made the jump from Double-A to the Astros because the Astros absolutely had no help at starting pitching due to injuries. So the Astros asked someone that they just drafted last year, and that's 23 years old, who has not even pitched at the AAA level yet, to pitch for them and start 3 games. So you can't really look at a 6.94 ERA for a 23-year-old who hasn't even played at AAA yet and say, okay, is this? Are we going to judge him off of this? And not to mention, if you've looked at the Astros top 30 prospects, that the fact that if you look at number 9, Jake Bloss, his ETA, which means his expected major league debut, is 2026. It is 2024. And he started pitching for the Astros in June 2024. So I don't really judge him off of his first 3 starts, because the fact that he made the jump from AA to the major leagues at 23 years old. So he, in my opinion, had a promising future as well. I think he would probably have better trade value, most likely, if he hadn't had the last 3 starts he had for the Astros. Like, if he was just continued to put up the numbers he was doing in AAA or AA, what we've been seeing beforehand, before he got called up, honestly, he probably have more trade value. I think that 6.94 ERA really hurts his trade value, in my opinion, if you ask me. And then Will Wagner has a 300 batting average this year with like 30-something RBIs, I believe. It's like 41 RBIs and a batting average of 307. I don't really mind the Astros trading Will Wagner, to be honest. Love his dad, Billy Wagner. He's a legend for the Astros. But with him, he plays third, he plays first, and he plays second. And the Astros were not really confident about him playing third. And they looked at him as a potential replacement for Bregman if Bregman potentially leaves after this season. And they're not too happy or confident with his defensive, him being as a defensive third baseman. Obviously, there's no future as him being the second baseman for the Astros, since the Astros have Jose Altuve. And I don't think him being a first baseman is something that they'd love for him to be. So I don't mind the Astros trading Will Wagner. And honestly, if this was just Will Wagner and Jake Bloss, and the Astros had Yusei Kikuchi for 1 or 2 more seasons after this year, I'd be like, okay, this is a good trade. We need starting pitching. But it's the fact that it's not just Jake Bloss and Will Wagner, and not just those 2 guys, but also Joey Loperfido for Yusei Kikuchi, who is a free agent after this year and has a 4.75 ERA this year, with 22 starts and giving up 115 hits and 125 hits in 115 innings, 63 runs, 61 earned runs, 17 home runs, 30 walks, 130 strikeouts. But let's see how this trade turns out for the Astros, because I don't think it'll turn out good. I really don't. And maybe we should start questioning about Dana Brown getting fired after this deal that he just made. I'd never want to see a man lose his job, but with this bad of a trade that we just saw Dana Brown make, I have to question it. I have to. I've been brushing off Dana Brown getting fired since last year at the trade deadline, when the Astros traded for Justin Verlander and Kendall Graveman. And if you look at those 2 moves, the Astros made terrible moves. I know Corey Lee has not been good this year for the White Sox, and Drew Gilbert and Ryan Clifford haven't been great for the Mets minor league system this year. But the Astros last year gave up like 3 of their top 5 prospects for 2 pitchers who have been injured a lot. Kendall Graveman didn't pitch in the postseason. The Astros gave up Corey Lee for him. Kendall Graveman is out for the season this year. Has not pitched at all. Justin Verlander has been on the IL most of the year. He's only started in like 10 games. And I believe he had some injury issues last year as well, after the Astros brought him back. So he gave up 3 top 5 prospects last year to acquire Justin Verlander and Kendall Graveman, who've been filled with injuries. And I thought those were good moves at the time, but actually those moves have been terrible just because of the fact that those 2 guys have been injured. And now he gives up 3 really promising prospects. This time it's just for 1 pitcher, and he only has the rest of the year on contract. He's a free agent after this year. And it's not like Verlander and Graveman actually had good numbers when the Astros picked them up. They were doing a good job with the Mets and the White Sox. Yusei Kikuchi is having a terrible year. So I think this trade is going to come to bite the Astros in the butt. But let me know your thoughts on the Astros making this trade in the comment section. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out. Go Astros.